Well, in terms of, we went through a process previously with the previous government, and the previous government then, I suppose, in very blunt terms, chose to ignore the City of Casey's point of view. And decided to expand the urban growth boundary anyway. What's happened since then is that the new state government re-looking at the urban growth boundary issue, and they went through a process which has just recently completed about what they call logical inclusions. City of Casey made very strong representations to both the Planning Minister and the Agricultural Minister with regard to that process, on the basis that we wanted to actually present that process, but present not from a logical inclusion perspective, but a logical exclusion perspective. So we did put a case, which colleagues of mine undertook, and it was a difficult one because the panel that were looking at logical inclusions actually adjourned the actual panel hearing to take legal arguments with regard to whether they can actually deal with an exclusion. Anyway, they heard the arguments, and not long after they'd done that, we fortunately got a letter from the Minister of Planning saying that it was appropriate for City of Casey's case with regard to exclusion to be heard during the logical inclusion process. So apparently the panel, I think, have deliberated and come to their conclusions, and that is now with the Minister for Planning, and when he will make a decision, I'm not sure. We remain cautiously optimistic that we've made a good case and that there may be some changes with regard to that. It would be a very difficult and politically courageous decision, I think, by the Minister to overturn the expectations of the development community in seeing that land for development purposes. But, you know, we're still optimistic that that may well happen. No, is the short answer. I think there'd been a lot of pressure put on the council and also on state government in terms of that particular land. I suppose, being a town planner myself, I could see the logical arguments for including that within the actual urban growth boundary. With the I could just see the arguments for that, and so I suppose it was understandable that that might have been something that would be accepted by the council. But that, I don't think, weakened the council's arguments, very strong arguments, with regard to the wider agricultural areas that are affected in Casey, which it's, you know, particularly with regard to the high soil qualities, and I can't emphasise that, you know, more than I already have. The soil quality is exceptional in that area. It's every much as good as the protected areas around Werribee. And that seems to have been overlooked by the previous government, and I think hopefully is going to be reconsidered by this current government. And I think it's incredibly important to retain those areas of high quality agricultural land with quality soils for the future of our of Melbourne and for our community. But I think more importantly, and from a wider perspective, which I didn't particularly cover in the presentation, which I wanted to if I had the time, but I'm blaming you're the messenger, Kirsten, is that, you know, Australia as a whole, if it doesn't do more about protecting its agricultural land, is missing a trick. It really is missing a trick in terms of economic opportunity as a major food producer in the world. And if we start throwing our agricultural land away for urban development, which is lost forever, we really are just shooting ourselves in the foot. So it's and you know, I use those words, you know, with passion. I just feel the whole process about the way we've gone about this is stupid. And, you know, I always coin a phrase from the ad campaign about drink and driving, you know, you bloody idiot kind of thing. Well, I'm sorry, but the ideas of the expansion of urban growth boundaries and everything for Melbourne it's, I'm afraid, you bloody idiots. I will be very quick. In terms of the growers aren't ignored in this process. The only thing I highlight is it's that group have got together as the project group to look at driving a pre-feasibility stage. As part of that pre-feasibility stage, there has been significant engagement with the growers, and through the feasibility process, the growers will become more and more important as part of that process. So the growers are not ignored. I mean, they're absolutely crucial to the success of that project anyway. With regard to, I can't disagree with you, the point you're making. It would be great if we could just put the infrastructure in and expect the growers then to take that water, having put that infrastructure in, because it's such an important thing. The reality of the matter is that we've got to look at it as almost like a business case, and that's what the feasibility study is about. And we've got to have the support of the state government. So that's the way we're going about it. We are engaging with the growers, and we will continue to engage with the growers in the future through the Bunyip Food Belt.